Bonjour Bitcoin. Aujourd'hui, c'est le jeudi 14 septembre 2017. Moi, c'est Eliazi et je suis avec Thomas Hunt. Et voilà ce qui se passe aujourd'hui sur Bitcoin.
All right, here we go. Today in Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin was down 3.63% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 38.36, a high of 39.80, and a low of 37.90. Should Jamie Dimon be terrified about Bitcoin? Could Bitcoin and other similar digital currencies one day render Wall Street irrelevant? And you know the answer. The answer is yes. Check out this great article by Nick Bilton, author of the Hatching Twitter book and the recent book about the Dread Pirate Roberts, Ross Ulbricht. Nick speculates that Jamie is overreacting and showing his cards. He's afraid of Bitcoin. That's why he's speaking out against it. It also makes no sense. Jamie has a severe case of cognitive dissonance. That is, he's holding two conflicting ideas in his head at the same time. Jamie, privately and publicly within his company, is a big fan of blockchain. He supported the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, and Chase Manhattan is working on an Ethereum-based project. If he's working on all these ideas, why can't he understand the value of Bitcoin? Maybe because it threatens his core business. Bad move, Jamie. You know how the Streisand effect works. The more you don't want someone to focus on something, the more they do. And remember what happened when those trumpet players went to the famous fabled walls of Jericho. The walls came tumbling down. Bitcoin mining, a new way for North Korea to generate funds. CNBC writes a pretty brain-dead article about North Korea. They talk about how, sure, North Korea could sell Bitcoin if they had it, but how would they get the mining chips? North Korea is not exactly an intellectual, technological hub. The fabricating machines alone, the chip designs. Of course, North Korea could perhaps be importing miners from China, but that would be relatively easy to stop, as miners are large physical objects that one could see moving over the border in huge trucks. Still an interesting idea that a rogue nation could make money while the rest of the world enforces harsh sanctions against them by Bitcoin mining. And finally, Bitcoin's journey towards mainstream acceptance has begun. I'm sure you can feel it every way and every day, and I see it in my Google searches. The mainstream media is writing article after article about Bitcoin, and not negatively. They're saying, here's the history of Bitcoin from ATMs to Silk Road. They're saying, maybe you haven't heard about Bitcoin yet, or maybe Bitcoin's died 162 times and the media's been wrong 162 times. Bitcoin is now in the mainstream. We're going to see more and more celebrities getting involved, people like Vladimir Putin and Vitalik Buterin, etc. Bitcoin just can't be stopped. It's everywhere. And now we're going to go to Tone Vase for a check on the current markets. How's it going, Tone? Show in broadcast, and there.
There we go. Now I can unmute. Hey guys, how are you? Is this how many more days do you have in France?
This is my last day in France, but more on that later.
All right. No, it's good. I'm here in Zurich, Switzerland. It's been awesome. Did a meetup last night. Had about 400 people come out to my presentation. So it's great. The world tour is doing well. And so is the Bitcoin mempool. It's actually a little discouraging that there aren't that many transactions in the world of Bitcoin. And again, it just boggles the mind how we were bombarded with propaganda for an entire year that, you know, Bitcoin can't handle all of these transactions. And now that we have SegWit, all of a sudden, all of that spam has disappeared. Like, you can send your transactions unreasonably cheap, and you would have been able to do it for the last several weeks. So this goes to show you, you know, propaganda goes a long way, and spammers that help that propaganda really go a long way. But right now, if anyone tells you Bitcoin is too cheap, just laugh in their face and send the transaction, pay a 2-cent transaction fee, and you'll get in the next block. I mean, let's just look at it. The blocks aren't even full, and they don't even have to be full. because they're clearing all of the transactions. Okay, as you can see, we're doing really well on SegWit transactions. We now have blocks one over 1 meg, 1015. Bitfury mined that one, so that's all really good. And you can still see the number of SegWit transactions continues to go up. Look at this. We're now 50, 46, 46, 66, 64, and well, 112. I mean, this number is going to continue to tick up, and more people are going to be using SegWit. But let's go on to the price. This is the important one. Okay, so we still have the China question. No one knows how it's going to end. What we do know is that the ICOs are banned, and the exchanges that are trading in these ICOs, they're definitely going to be banned. The question is, what happens to Bitcoin? Will we have Chinese Bitcoin exchanges, say, a week from now? And honestly, nobody knows. I mean, I bet you the exchanges know, but I'm sure they can't announce it quite yet. So we're all waiting to hear that news. Now, I'm expecting the exchanges to stick around, but be very heavily regulated. But guess what? Even if it's the worst case scenario and we have no more Chinese exchanges, well, then it will be just like the US in 2014, right? Or 2013, when all of the Bitcoin exchanges were all banned in the US, and then Coinbase kind of came out, and they weren't an exchange, but they were a way for people to buy Bitcoin and sell Bitcoin to them, right? So people couldn't trade with each other, but they can buy and sell from Coinbase. So what if China goes the same way? We've dealt with this before. It's not a giant catastrophe. And if China does start to ban all things Bitcoin, shouldn't people that have been complaining about everything being centralized in China, those people should be happy, because then it will be harder for everybody to do this in China, okay? So it's not bad. So let's take a look at the charts. So we have a second bad week in a row. Now, of course, this is not what I expected. I expected these 2 weeks to be more positive, but the China news derailed us a little bit. And once the China news derailed us, people started thinking, you know what, maybe I shouldn't pay $4,500 for a Bitcoin. Maybe I should just wait, okay? There are no smoking guns in these situations, right? I mean, we do know that the news out of China spooked the market. The market was already pulling back a little bit. Like if I look at the daily chart, the market was already pulling back from a $5,000 price. Then the China news spooked it, and then we were starting to go back up, but then additional China news spooked it again. And at this point, we've stayed under 5,000 so long that people started thinking again. And what they were thinking was, maybe I should rush into Bitcoin. The FOMO basically ended. And now cooler heads are prevailing and people are trying to time the bottom. Where will this bottom be? I'm not expecting Bitcoin to fall below 3,000. I think 3,000 is great support. Now, right now, on the daily chart, we are sitting below the 50-day moving average, which is kind of bearish. We just had a pretty bad day yesterday. And this metric right here is telling me we should have maybe 4 more days of downside, and then potentially we go back up. That's the daily chart. If I go back to the weekly chart, if this week closes, today is already a Thursday, at least Thursday, well, for us here in Europe, I guess Thursday already in the US as well. And we still have a long way to go to see if this is going to be a red 1 or a green 9. And I know not everyone is familiar with this indicator. If the count breaks and we get a red 1, and then we go to 3,000, that actually sets us up really nicely for new upside. So to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing that. You really want your price to find a true bottom and then turn around. If we can fall back to the previous high, which was around 3,000, this would set us up really great. Like I would be screaming that that's a perfect buy point at 3,000. Will it get there? I mean, no one knows, but I am looking for 4 more days of downside. If we can, will we get all the way to 3,000? I don't know. I really don't. Uh, I don't see any support between here and 3,000. So if it reverses somewhere now or in between, the only thing I would point to is the 50-day moving average, but we're now below it. If we close today below it, then I mean, I would not, like, I wouldn't be buying here. Let's put it that way. I would wait for 3,000 for my perfect buy, or I'd wait for it to get back above 4,600, and then I would buy. So just like the rest of the world, people aren't rushing to buy right now. There isn't much buying pressure, and it's starting to sell off. Now, on the 4-hour chart, there was a potential scalp at a buy right here. It was a doji candle all the way at the bottom with a 13 count. Obviously didn't lead to any profit. There was another buy point right here. This would have been about 6 hours ago. This is the 4-hour chart. Again, right here, you could have taken a stab at a buy at the bottom of this candle or the following candle. And right now, you're probably profitable. So let's see if this lasts. But again, your daily chart is bearish and your weekly chart is neutral. So your weekly chart is neutral, your daily chart is bearish, your 4-hour chart is showing you a potential rebound, and your 1-hour chart had a little buy point right here, which would have been timed with that 4-hour chart probably, or a little bit before that, and also is currently neutral. So that's pretty much it on the price. Thomas, you want to talk about the travel schedule, or should I?
Oh, sure, Tone. Go ahead and tell them. I think we're going to the Blockchain Hotel in Essen, Germany. That's right.
Yeah, so today I'm speaking at this event, Finance 2.0. I was very happy to know that it starts at 1 p.m., which is great, so I can maybe take another nap. But after that, we are both going to be at the Blockchain Hotel. I will get there on Friday. I believe you're getting there on tomorrow. Or wait, are you getting there tonight?
Yeah, I'll be there tonight. I'm driving in through the, taking the Thalys. It's a really fast train. It's going to be fun.
Oh, nice. All right, so you'll be there tonight. I'll be there tomorrow. I'm taking a flight at like 8:30 in the morning out there. And then I'll be at the Munich meetup. And I think there is another meetup in between that. I'll know more about that tomorrow. That I'll be between Blockchain Hotel and Munich. There might be another meetup in Germany somewhere on the way. There will be a couple of things in Milan later in September. I also need to decide if I'm going to London around September. Right after this meetup in Munich, I may come to London for about 5 days. Then I'm going to Milan, and after Milan, I will be speaking in Ukraine. I just agreed, there I am. I just agreed to speak at this event over in Ukraine. And yeah, and after that, we're both going to be in Prague for Hackers Congress. And then I'm going to head out to California in order to speak at BlockCon along with, I believe, my trading seminar right here. There it is. All right, back over to you, Thomas.
Very cool. Good stuff. Check out the Tone Vase trading seminar. And I'd just like to remind everyone to give us a thumbs up and a share. That'll help more people find the show. If it's your first time here, please subscribe down below. And we have a bit of housekeeping. There's been a troll that's been stealing the name World Crypto Network and the logo World Crypto Network. I just want to remind everyone, we will never ask for money in the comments. If we do donations, we'll put a QR code on the screen. We'll usually put it in the description. If it's my QR code, I'll mention it on my Twitter. Always double check before you send money, especially a lot of money. If you're going to send $5, it's probably okay. But always check that the QR code is correct, that the address is correct. Never give money to people in the comments where they could easily fake their address. And we're talking to YouTube to try to get this fixed, but who knows if they're going to care. But I've had a great time in Paris. Been taking a lot of pictures and a lot of video. It's been super fun. I'd like to give a shout out to my hosts, Ellie and Maria, for hosting me in France. It's been great. I had a wonderful time. And today I'm moving on to Germany. And as I mentioned earlier, if you'd like to help support my trip to Germany, the train's a little expensive. Everything in Europe's a little expensive. So if you want to send $10 or $20 or whatever to this Bitcoin QR code on your screen, that would be great. I'd appreciate your support. And keep an eye on my Twitter @MadBitcoins. If you'd like to know more about my trip, I've been tweeting a lot of photos and a lot of my ideas. And I'll be in Germany tonight. So if you're in Essen, Germany, it didn't look like there was an opening party for the conference, but maybe if you get to the conference early and you're there on Thursday at the Blockchain Hotel, I'll be there. They said they have like an apartment or something. I'm going to be checking that out. I might be crashing with Amir Taki. It'd be fun to see Amir again. I really liked his speech in Paris, and we did a podcast together quite a long time ago. But it's been great to be here on Today in Bitcoin, and we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye. Ta-da!